Welcome to episode 11 of Dual Boot Diaries, the weekly podcast where two longtime Windows users tried to learn Linux and use it daily. Yeah. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Patrick Murray.
I'm Will Smith. I'm the other host, and we are going to, at some point in the future, stop dual booting and just boot one OS or the other, Linux or Windows. When it'll happen, we don't know. Some computers it's already happened on, others maybe never. Yeah, but we're here today to talk about Linux, and I can't see the thing where it's not in my line of sight right now.
We're also not professionals.
Yeah, no, we're definitely not professionals. We need to put that at the top. Experts.
We're not experts. Well, we are professionals. We're not experts.
We should do this again.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Let's keep going. And also, I just want people to know this is a conversation. We're hanging out. We're showing the warts and all. Well, feedback's been great.
The thing is, we learn, and by sharing the things we're having trouble with, we get help from the community. Other people find the things that we're having trouble with. We share the answers to the things we've had trouble with.
Hopefully.
And then the community learns from that as well. So whether you've been doing this for a long time, you're the longtime Linux user, or you're just like, hey, you know what? I've had all the Copilot I need, and I'm going to switch OSs. We're here for you.
Yeah,
that's the TLDR.
Also, I'd like to think that I really fall into that noob role where people constantly are yelling at the radio whenever I talk.
Yeah, I think so.
Because here we go. I'm gonna go. I know I said this
last week. Hold on, I just want to set the stage here. Because at the end of last week,
we actually need to reverse even further back.
Okay.
One of the episodes, I think episode 6 or something. I was like, hey, I'm all in on Ubuntu.
And then last week at the end of the episode, you were like, this is it. This is the one for me. And I said, oh, so you like vanilla ice cream? And you said, yeah, I love Ubuntu. I want vanilla ice cream. And then you know what you did yesterday when we came into the office? You said, Will,
I'm all in.
Changed. I'm all in.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
On Fedora.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And actually, after the discussion we had last week, there was a lot of good chatter. A lot of people, I was honest about, hey, the whole DNF versus apt thing.
Yeah.
It breaks my brain.
Do not finish.
I don't know. I still don't know what it stands for. And like people in the chat were like, oh, actually, you can actually change it to make an alias to just be like, oh, you can still run apt on Fedora. It'll probably break in the future, but like whatever.
That seems like a bad idea to me. I'm not an expert.
I'm curious. Yeah. I'm curious because it sounded like it's actually not a horrible thing to do. Okay. But actually, what really pushed me over the edge, a couple people. I'm going to call out one person specifically over on YouTube, not just for hackers 4252. Not 4251.
No significance to me.
Yeah. No, there's a bunch of not just for hackers, thousands before him.
4,000.
Yeah.
250.
And he made a good point, along with others. Said Fedora will start making more sense to you when you use Linux for gaming and when you buy new release hardware. And I was like, you know what? Number one, we are always using new hardware around here, and I am. For the PCWorld purposes, I am actually trying to figure out ways to do hardware testing with Linux when we get in new laptops, desktop stuff. And so Fedora probably is better for me to just get accustomed to.
I spent some time this weekend working on frame time stuff with Linux, which was interesting.
And then the other part of it is the fact of the gaming, right? Mm-hmm. Like I am really close. Almost over the weekend, I was like, you know what, my dedicated gaming machine on my TV, like I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah. But I wasn't gonna do Ubuntu.
Like, you can put Bazite on that.
Either Bazite or maybe even Fedora. I'm not quite sure, but probably Bazite. And so I was like, you know what, everything really is pointing towards I should just do Fedora. And I mean, the reason why I started because people were pointing stuff out for weeks ago anyway, just being like, hey, listen, it's a good in between a real stable desktop, workstation like Ubuntu and a rolling distro. I don't want to go that far that you are with Cashy, but Fedora, from what it sounds like, is a nice in between.
So I like this. I'm going to think of November as your month of Fedora. And then on December 1st, when you switch over to Manjaro, I'm going to be really excited about that too, because then we'll be one step closer to being, arch buddies.
Yeah. Anyway,
congratulations.
So
finally, you found the one.
Quote unquote. I've settled on
doubled down.
Yeah. So the other thing, and I think I mentioned this last week too. I was like, I need to rip the Band-Aid off. In a lot of ways. I know, whatever.
So many ways.
Anyway, and one of the things I'm doing on this Framework 13 laptop, I still have this Framework 13 that I'm working on. It only has support for a single drive. I don't want to dual boot Windows on that single drive anymore. It's just not what I want to do
need that.
anymore.
Yeah.
Also, I did successfully get Linux booted off of or installed and bootable off of the expansion card.
Yep.
But I was also like, it's still kind of
Gets real hot.
It gets real hot. It's also not recommended. I mean, I was thinking about it more too because framework is like, oh no, we only support live stuff, and you're right. That is actually kind of a cop out. I wish it was like really baked into being like, hey, you know what? We have these expansion cards. You should be able to plug them in and live boot off of them, and it is supported. So I don't know. I decided. Also, the other thing was like, I need to rip off the Windows Band-Aid. So I have no Windows on this laptop.
I do like that.
And so what I'm doing is like, if I need to go into Windows, I have a separate M.2 SSD that I'll throw in. I'll give an example.
Okay.
I know. Well,
I get it.
Luckily, this Framework 13 is
pretty
really
easy to work
get
in.
into.
Yeah.
Swap it out, whatever. And the example I'll give, which is a legit example. So I'm actually going away for the weekend. There was a funeral in the family. I was asked to make a slideshow, a video slideshow of photos of the family member, and I was like, okay, I can totally do that. And for a little bit last night, I tried to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to finally download DaVinci, and I ran into a whole host of problems there. Whatever, we can cover it later.
DaVinci's hard.
Yeah,
it turns out.
And then I downloaded one of the other like free distros, like what is it? It's still on here. KDE. What is it? KDE N Live, whatever.
One of the video editors.
Yeah, which actually seemed pretty nice. Like, I'm not disparaging it, but like, then at the same time, like my wife was like, "Hey, do you have that video done?" You know, it's a stressful time, and I was like, you know what? Now's not the time to mess around with this stuff.
Look, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I was afraid you were going to say, yeah, I've got the slideshow all programmed up, ready to go. I'm just going to plug the Linux laptop into the TV when we get there, and it's just going to, I was like, oh, that's bad. No, just make a video.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go over to Windows. I'm going to go into Premiere. I know Premiere. I was able to make the video. You know, everything was good. I think that's one of those examples where it's like, hey, listen.
That's a legitimate excuse.
Yeah.
Like, so, not stressing out your wife in an already difficult
exactly.
time. Good choice, Adam.
So I have that drive, but I am making it a little bit harder in normal times to just go into Windows, right? Because I need to figure out ways to get around Windows. So I'm trying.
I mean, look, I'll say when I did the Niri switch over, and I just didn't put Windows on this laptop, it's made me spend more time thinking about how I use a computer, how I use a laptop specifically, and it's been good.
That's what I was thinking too. I mean, there's still roadblocks. I'm still not ready to do it on my work desktop, but like I think I'm inching ever closer to doing it on my gaming machine. Which actually, I mean, I'll probably still dual boot on the gaming machine because there's
Battlefield 6 has
there's some
Windows,
games, but for the most part. Like I want to try that experience, see how it is.
I'm thinking, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but like for me, it seems like I play Fortnite with my friends multiple times a week, right? I have for years. We've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders, which actually runs great on Linux. I played that a little bit this weekend on Linux.
Okay. Does it have anti-cheat?
It does, but they provided Linux compatible anti-cheat binaries. So shout outs to Embark. The big thing is like Fortnite and Battlefield and new releases. Stuff that uses de novo anti-piracy is a problem. But the vast majority of what I play, like I could be in a situation where the only thing I do to Windows is to boot over to play Fortnite, basically. Like that's a realistic outcome, I think, for where I am.
So like that's why some people still ask us about this whole premise of this podcast of like, oh, you know, we talk at the beginning of like, oh, once we're done with the dual booting, we're going to just move forward.
It was a premise of lies.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I think it's more like on the laptop, I think we both, like you're definitely in a spot where you don't need Windows on the laptop anymore. I'm close, you know, so like, I think it's almost device independent, if that makes sense.
I think there's like, look, it's the old Steve Jobs metaphor of computers being pickup trucks and sports cars and bicycles, and like the different, like your phone is like a motorcycle. It kind of fits everywhere. It goes fast, but like it's limited use, right? You're not going to go to the grocery store with your motorcycle probably. But like if I need to go haul some mattresses or lumber, I'm going to take the pickup truck, right? And the pickup truck might have different OSs on it than the motorcycle or the family car. That's the metaphor.
I'm sorry. I was imagining you either riding one on a motorcycle
Yeah.
or two in a pickup truck.
You don't think I'd be a motorcycle guy?
I can't see you
my first car was a
either.
pickup truck.
Okay.
I loved having I'm going to tell you, I loved having a pickup truck.
Okay.
Because 2 reasons.
Did you haul around lumber?
I haul around stuff all the time, yeah. The best part is, one, nobody ever asks for a ride because there's only one other seat and they don't want to be, nobody wants to be third man on the bench.
Ooh, Gordon
right?
would like that, yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's like great, never having to ask for rides. 2 is when you need to haul something, like when you want to go take somebody and go ride bikes someplace or something, you just chuck the bikes in the back of the pickup. You don't have to fool with a rack. You don't have to like dig the thing out of the garage and jam it onto it's just, you just chuck them in the back and go. It's no problem, no sweat.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, you're camping, it starts raining. Yeah, you just get in the back, put the little camper cover up, and put your sleeping bag in the bed, and you're good.
Yeah,
nice and warm.
I like it. Thanks, Steve Jobs, for the analogy.
Yeah, thanks, Steve Jobs.
Good
Steve
job.
Jobs rules. We love Steve Jobs here at Dual Boot Diaries, especially Adam.
Exactly. Anyway, so
okay, so you're all in on Fedora, is what my understanding.
All in on Fedora. People have been asking a lot to see our desktop situations. We're going to shoot that pretty soon. But I wanted to kind of get mine in order, and so I'm going to go over some of the stuff I did just to basically set it up, and I'm pretty much up and running on this laptop. Once again, I am recording this audio right now through this laptop on Fedora. So
if it's bad, it's Fedora's fault.
Exactly. So the apps, kind of the most mainstream apps I have installed are Slack, Discord, Mission Center, VLC, and Edge. A lot of people actually told me that, oh, hey, you can use Excel or the web-based Excel. You don't have to use Edge for it. I guess I can try it in something like Firefox.
It works on Chromium. It doesn't work well on Firefox.
Oh, okay. Because, I was just like I want to have it in a separate browser because in my normal Chrome setup, I'm signed into my personal Outlook stuff, or my work Outlook stuff, but my Edge, whatever.
When you're edging, you're on your own time.
Yeah. I want to be in a different, I want to log into them differently because I have my own setup. So I want to use a separate browser. I guess I just assumed Edge would be like the best to work with a web-based Excel, but it sounds like maybe that's
what's the same renderer. I just use containers for that. So I have personal containers. Okay,
yeah.
So
I guess I
all
could
in
have
one
done
browser.
that other way.
Yeah.
And then I installed some extensions.
Okay.
One of the
are you GNOME here? Is that
GNOME? Oh okay. yeah, 100% GNOME.
You're committed to GNOME
all the way in to GNOME.
You love that Mac look.
Yeah, I just love it. But by default, it doesn't have a dock. Or at least a visible dock. So this is probably my hands down my favorite extension that I've ever used is Dash to Dock. Super simple, gets up and running. I actually have it set up so that when I'm in full screen in an app, it goes away. But if I'm not full screen in an app, it shows and it's like fully covers the edge of the bar. I really like that if you're a dock person and you need it on GNOME. I have not been wanting for another situation like that. I actually did find a couple other GNOME extensions that that I saw an article from How to Geek, which was like, oh hey, here's 5 most common Ubuntu problems that can be fixed with GNOME extensions. So I found a couple. One was tray icons, which adds the actual application up in the top bar?
The system tray thing, the way bar, yeah.
Which is cool. It's a little wonky. It kind of displays the open application image in a weird compressed way.
Is it for applications that are open, or is it for things that would minimize to the system tray?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Waybar has 2 different alternatives for that. I can see on my bar up here, it shows you what the active application is right here.
Ooh, I like that.
And then over here, it's on the right side. It's like this Windows system tray. So it's like the things running in the background, like Cache Update, Discord.
And I love the on Windows. I don't. We've talked about this before. Yeah. Personally, I don't use the caret icon. I want to see every single thing that's running.
Yeah.
I need to figure out a way to do that. This tray icons (reloaded) does not do it perfectly. So I need to find it. If there's a recommendation for something like that, hell yeah. The left hand thing I don't really need. That's not. Yeah, it's more on the right.
See, I don't have Niri doesn't have window Chrome, so you need that to know what the name of your application is, right? There's nothing at the top of my Windows
mine
saying
doesn't either.
This is Alacrity or whatever.
Mine doesn't either. I just know what application it is.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't. You know,
oh, really? You don't know which
I'm
one's
like,
in focus?
What am I doing? What even am I running here? What
Okay,
is this
you know what?
thing?
Actually, that is kind of nice. That is kind of nice. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll look now. Well,
Don't Waybar shame me, Adam.
is that is that a GNOME extension or
No, this is
you're
Niri.
not. Oh, you Niri. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Do you Niri, bro?
no, I definitely don't.
You should consider Niriing. I tried to get Elena on Niri last week, and she was briefly tiling window manager curious, and then she came to her senses. I think.
Elena Yee,
co-host on Full Nerd.
on the Full Nerd, a PCWorld writer. So we're pushing over the edge.
Yeah.
Trying to get on this train as well.
Proselytizing, I think, is the word.
She has a couple other things that she's trying to work
curious.
out. Yeah, but she's curious. I think she'll do it. Anyway, there's that stuff, and then by default, Fedora doesn't show all three of the icons for minimize and full screen.
Completely unnecessary. You don't
I
need
know.
those.
You can double click on the bar to maximize
Just
it.
always be tiling. That's what I say.
Yeah, so there is just a quick little GNOME like
a hack.
No, it's not a hack. It's just you need to turn on a flag.
Got it.
I Googled it. I found it. I just put it in the terminal.
It's a G settings thing. It's kind of like the about config page of your browser where you have like all the hidden settings. Basically, you can go turn on and off a bunch of stuff.
So it is built in. It's just not on by default for Fedora. So I turned that off, or I turned it on so I could see it. I like seeing it personally.
I mean, sometimes it's nice to see things.
Yeah.
Sometimes not so much.
Yeah. Also, so that's kind of just my normal install.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff. Like I do have Audacity that we're using to record this.
Love Audacity. Did you have that trouble configuring it to do multi-track recording again?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No. Not at all. Audacity has been running fine. I'm using a Mo2 ADC. So yeah. So then the next step, which is we'll get into that for homework for next week.
Okay.
The last thing.
Yeah.
That I'm excited to talk about is benchmarks because like I said earlier, I've been thinking about how to integrate laptop testing or Linux testing with the hardware we get in. We get in a lot of laptops. We get in a lot of handheld gaming PCs. I'm the official reviewer for desktop CPUs and GPUs, things like that. So like we're not gonna pivot to it and be like we're never gonna benchmark in Windows again. Windows is still. Like
Windows, the people who care about
focus.
benchmarks care about Windows for the most part.
Yeah, well, I mean, but Linux
There's a
people
market.
do too. Yeah. So like,
We love reading Phoronix reviews as much as the next person.
Exactly, but I'm no Phoronix.
No,
Mike was a great guy. But I'm not going to go that deep in. But I am trying to figure out how far I want to go in, and also what makes sense, right? Because I think there's two things. Number one, you want to see the performance of a laptop in Linux.
Yeah.
People want that. Also, I'm also curious to see what's the performance difference between the same piece of hardware running Windows or Linux. Things like that. So,
just as a series, that would be an interesting thing to test. I mean, honestly, we get access to laptops before almost anybody else, which is both a double-edged sword and kind of an interesting content opportunity for us. Because, like, I think that there's probably a real market for, hey, what doesn't work on this laptop on Linux just out of the box, and doing a couple of like live boot CDs and seeing if stuff like the webcam and the fingerprint sensor and all of that stuff work out of the box.
Yeah, it's one of the things I wanted to ask out there. Like, apart from benchmarks, like, would people just want to see, hey, I loaded up a distro?
Yeah, I loaded up Fedora, I loaded up Ubuntu, I loaded up Arch, whatever.
Yeah, and be like, oh, what works? Can you have access to the Wi-Fi? Can you play audio? Okay, does it see the webcam? Yeah. Things like that. Like a checklist of.
There's like essentially a half dozen things.
Yeah.
Then you can say, hey, this is a pass on all sides. And
so, let us know if you want that, and also what you would want to see on that checklist. I think there's obviously some basic stuff of like, does Bluetooth, Wi-Fi work, webcam, speakers, all that kind of stuff.
And I think it's probably like, it's not the kind of thing that we would probably go in and do like deep troubleshooting like we would on one of these laptops we've been talking about on the podcast. Yep. We would just load up the latest version of maybe a couple of distros live CDs and see what works and see what doesn't.
It's like a checklist.
Yeah.
Did it configure out of the box? Yes or no? Not that I'm going to go try to fix it. Just be like, yes or no out of the box.
If you buy this laptop today and put this version of this distro on it, probably won't work.
And then the actual benchmarking part of it, we don't need to get into like benchmarking philosophy that we do here. You can see us talk about that over at the Full Nerd. We talk about that stuff a lot. But there are two kinds of benchmarks. There's benchmarks that are platform specific, that only work on Windows for the most part, right? Or Linux or whatever. And then there's ones that try to do cross platform, like so that you can do one-for-one testing.
To compare like CPUs on phones and then desktops and laptops and the whole thing.
Yeah, regardless of OS. Yeah. So and that list is actually pretty small. Like Geekbench is probably the most widely known one of that.
Cinebench is cross-platform, right?
Nope.
Oh no, really?
No, I tried to look. Unfortunately, it's not. So yeah, Geekbench Geekbench has a history. I don't think it's perfect, but you can run Geekbench on a laptop or a phone or a Mac or
tablet,
whatever. Yeah. And it's theoretically running the same tests and will give you a number that's relevant to compare against another device.
Yeah, this is a thing Gordon and I have been talking about for 25 years basically. What does that number represent? I don't know. It's just that it's better at running Geekbench than a machine that has a lower score, and it's better than running Geekbench. Sorry, other way around. It's better than running a Geekbench than a machine that has a lower number, and it's less good at running Geekbench than a machine that has a higher number. That's all you get out of that.
Bigger bar better.
Bigger bar better.
I mean, you can go in and see like what it's testing for, and they try to encapsulate a bunch of tests across a bunch of different CPU and GPU related tests, except for like Geekbench has OpenCL test.
Yeah.
OpenCL just won't work on Linux. But there's a Vulkan tech. I couldn't get it to work on Linux.
Oh.
So like
I don't think OpenCL would. Okay, well anyway, that's a TBD.
Maybe we can But there is a Vulkan test, and I was able to use the same exact laptop, or not even just this one, I was testing other laptops. The same exact laptop, one with the Geekbench Vulkan score, and then in Windows, and then one in Linux, and the score was different. The Linux one performed better. I'd asked you why, because I actually I don't know why, but it is interesting to see. Okay, well, how much better?
Well, the Vulkan drivers are generally pretty good on Linux. There's been a lot of work, especially if you're on an AMD CPU with integrated graphics or an AMD discrete GPU. Yeah. Your Vulkan drivers are really, really good on Linux. Is the kind of general feeling.
The question I wanted to ask you was, obviously that applies to games that can render natively in Vulkan, but would that also apply to games that are using the DXVK wrapper?
Well, DXVK writes through to Vulkan. Yeah. So generally speaking, like I know people who have like DirectX 11 games or I guess it's DX11 games that use one of those DXVK wrappers on the Windows versions because that fixes performance problems that they have in Windows and issues that they're having with the DirectX stack in Windows. So they just bypass it by doing the wrapper into the Vulkan driver on certain render paths.
So it's interesting. It's something I'm thinking about. Please chime in. Let me know what you think. Also, the other kind of widely established one that Gordon was actually the late Gordon Maung was liked a lot was called Crossmark. Babco is the company that makes it, and it's meant to be kind of a lightweight. It tests open source editing, like text editing software, webcam based stuff. Like it goes through a bunch of checklists, and it's more like light usage. Okay. Like how does it do just doing normal day-to-day web browsing stuff? So that's the other one that actually can run on across Windows, Mac OS, Linux, all that kind of stuff. So those are like the two easy ones for me. I have explored other ones, like 3D Mark, which is a hugely popular one that we use on the Windows side, unfortunately does not work on Linux. Cinebench does not work on Linux.
There's a Linux version of 3D Mark coming though.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find those things that make sense, but I'm also not trying to go so deep like Phoronix. Like Phoronix, he just focuses on Linux.
He does like compilation benchmarks and stuff like that, like really heavy duty stuff.
And for developers and stuff like I'm just trying to do more like just light touch. Hey, there's some key differentiators that are like, oh, that's interesting. I ran that same benchmark here, and then I ran it here, and what does that mean? So
I was looking at when I got Arc Raiders to run this weekend, I was like, I wonder if I can. I started looking at the microstutter stuff because I've been doing a series on PCWorld of videos about kind of depicting how microstutter works in new release games typically.
Really cool series. Yeah.
And thank you. And I'm curious if the Windows pipeline or the Linux pipeline, if the results are different. So I'm working on figuring out how to get equivalent frame time data out of the Linux rendering pipeline so that I can generate those same graphs in Linux, the Linux version that I do with the Windows version. It's a little up and down. If people have ideas about that, I would welcome them because I haven't found an equivalent to Frame View, which is a port of the Intel not Process Manager.
Wow.
Process Explorer?
No, I can't remember the. Yeah.
It's Process something.
Oh, no. Anyway,
yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, NVIDIA basically stripped out the GPU interesting parts of this thing that Intel built and released it as Frame View. It gives you basically render times, display times, and then the actual like time it takes to put the image on the display. And you can use that to calculate the frame time, the time it takes to render each frame in the game, and then I plot that on a graph so you so you can visually see where there's microstutter and kind of get an idea of what causes it.
I mean, luckily there's a swell of this. Like obviously there's people who focus on Linux. Like I said, for Onyx, Wendell, friend of the show over at Level 1 Techs, he does a lot of great Linux testing. But even more mainstream channels like Gamers Nexus, our friend Steve over at Gamers Nexus did a video with Wendell talking about how he wants to integrate Linux testing in his stuff. He obviously does testing way different than we do. Awesome stuff that he does over there. I'm definitely not even trying to go that deep either. So like what works for us, what works for what we're looking at. Also, he focuses mainly on gaming and desktops. Mm-hmm. Like we do a lot of other stuff like laptops, mini PCs, things like that. So
there's room for everybody. The interesting thing.
Presentmon.
Presentmon. Thank you.
The name of the
I knew it was
overlay.
something Mon.
Yeah.
What's funny is I handed my laptop. I was explaining tiling window managers to my wife the other day.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, it's probably easier to show you. So I set up the laptop and I showed her. I showed you swipe with 3 fingers, go up and down with 4 fingers, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, this feels really fast. And it's the thing I had forgotten. Like when I'm using Linux, I've been using Linux most of the time the last week or so. And I had to boot into Windows a couple times and it felt kind of chuggy. But like she's a Mac user. She has a MacBook Air. It's a little bit older now, but it's
is it M series?
It's an M1.
Oh, okay.
It's an M1, and I think it's the 8 gig model because I think all the Airs were 8 gigs. But like OS 10, it's fine. She's like, everything about this feels insanely fast, and I was like, yeah, it's
compared to her Mac. Because we know it's faster than Windows.
Well, but
for the most part,
it's more about how the UI renders and how it presents itself. Like, and the time they spend. Like, they just do instead of doing 10 frames to do a window transition, they do 3 and stuff like that. Right. So everything feels really, really snappy. Even before you get into the benchmarking, I'm kind of curious if like the Geekbench numbers from Windows to Windows are going to be the same and on a wider variety of hardware, especially if we get the OpenCL path working on the Linux side too.
Yeah, I mean the Vulkan obviously a big uptick. Yeah. The OpenCL thing, like maybe I have it wrong, but I need to look into it. But even the CPU-based tests, the multi-threaded is off a little bit, not by a ton.
Yeah.
But it is faster, and also Crossmark literally has something. One of its subscores that it tests is responsiveness.
Oh,
and
really?
I can tell you that on Linux it is getting consistently a better score. Yeah.
Are you getting on the? Are you on the Ryzen AI or are you on an Intel?
Yes, this is Ryzen
the 395 or whatever.
Yeah, Ryzen AI 9 375 or HX 370.
Okay.
Numbers, sorry.
Yeah.
So this is the top end of the thin and light laptop.
Okay. So anyway, I guess like learning to do Linux benchmarks just conceptually. Well, I think we should talk about this on Full Nerd sometime maybe when we have a slow week because it's an interesting topic and I'd love to hear what our co-hosts over there have to say about it. But like learning to do benchmarks on a new OS is challenging, and there's not a ton of documentation about like benchmarks that are of interest to consumers. There's a lot of information about how to benchmark a compile and stuff like that. Probably not super interesting to our audience. I want to figure out some ways that we can do benchmarks. We can do comparisons across platforms and all sorts of other stuff. So,
and also I'm people who don't know me from the Full Nerd. Like I'm fairly new to benchmarking in general. I've only been doing this for a couple of years. Luckily, I was learning from, the best. Considered one of the best in the industry, Gordon Mong, the late Gordon Mong, who has literally been benchmarking since the 90s. So like I feel like I have a good understanding, but that like even this cross-platform stuff, Gordon didn't do. Also, he never liked benchmarking from the command line. He didn't like actually setting stuff up on scripts. So like there are things that he never even taught me either. But at least I feel like I have a good foundation of like, okay, you keep things fair. What do you, and you need to understand what you're trying to test, like what's the goal of the benchmark, that kind of stuff. So at least I feel good in that. It's just like, okay, well then I need to figure out the rest of this stuff
Cool.
and how to present it. And if people find it interesting, once again, the reason why I'm bringing it up here is because please get down in the comments and let me know, number one, if you find it interesting. Number two, if you do, then like what would you want to see? But once again, knowing that I'm not going to go super deep level.
We're not gonna spend 3 days per laptop. Like this is a thing where we have to get in and out pretty fast on them. But like, and the checklist too. Like leave comments about the stuff you want to know about on the checklist. Like the places you've had pain before. Like we know about the webcam, we know about Bluetooth, we know about Wi-Fi, we know about audio, we know about fingerprint sensors, we know about what other weird stuff, like weird keyboard bindings. Like do the command keys that control your brightness and keyboard lights and stuff like that work? Like that's one to check. But anything else, please leave in the comments.
Also, last thing I'll note before we move to your stuff, I'm running Fedora 43. Brand new.
Oh, you're running the cutting edge.
The kernel 6.17, GNOME 49, I think is the newest one, 59, something like that. So yeah, Fedora 43.
Nice.
I'm on it, and yeah, it's fun. I dig it. I'm here.
Does it feel just like your Ubuntu with the GNOME?
Not exactly, but close enough. Okay. Like the GNOME stuff is really what I end up liking.
Is this like vanilla with like a little ripple of fudge through it? Is that where
it could be? You know, I actually saw somebody say, and I don't remember where I saw it, but somebody was like, "Hey, Fedora is probably." Oh no, that's what it was. Let me bring it up real quick. One of my favorite YouTube channels for Linux stuff is Learn Linux TV. I think is the name of the channel.
They were recommended when we announced that we were doing this.
Yeah, and
I've added them to my
here we
subs.
go. Yeah, and as the time we're recording this on Wednesday. We release it on Friday. He has a brand new video that just posted 3 hours ago reviewing Fedora 43 and says still the best GNOME distro. I didn't know that GNOME was supposed to be kind of the best one. I haven't watched the video, so I don't know why he says that.
Well, no, he's saying it's the best distro for people who like GNOME.
Yeah. So like I'm
best
curious.
Default configuration would be
so
that's cool.
Yeah, I think I'm in a good spot.
Okay.
So what are you? Where are you? Are you in a good spot?
I'm feeling pretty good. I spent some time. My daughter was sick after Halloween, which meant that instead of the usual...
Too much candy?
No, she had a little bit of a cold, but she's feeling better now. I mean, and a lot of candy also.
It doesn't help.
But usually my Saturday is spent doing like activities, family activities.
Okay.
And so she wasn't feeling good on Saturday. I had Saturday to futz around with the laptop.
You're like,
I was like, this is
bummer.
too bad. Yeah. I mean...
What does she think about Linux?
She's interested, but generally ambivalent. Like,
does she have a favorite?
No.
OS, I mean.
Probably Windows, maybe iOS.
Windows?
Yeah, well, look. So here's the thing. I explained Linux to her, and she was like, that's weird nerd stuff, Dad. I don't want to talk about that.
But she didn't, like her mom doesn't get in her ear and be like, hey, check out this Mac thing.
No, we don't have that kind of competitive relationship around child rearing. We're very much like we let her, she's 12. She can make her own choices on stuff. If she wants to install Linux, she wants to mess with Linux, I will 100% support her.
Yeah.
And when she came in and was using my computer the other day, she had to sign into something, and it was in the Linux desktop.
Okay.
And she was like, this is weird, but I kind of get it, but your mouse is too sensitive. So like,
which is not a Linux thing, but
no, right? That's my personal
also,
choice. Once
again, you have Cache at home as well, but it's not Niri. It's
Cache is KDE Plasma on the desktop, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so on my list this week, I wanted to get Dropbox working in a way that was reasonable and didn't take up a buttload of space on the laptop, because this is only a 512 gig SSD in this thing, which is fine for one boot Linux.
Yeah.
I found out about Rclone mount. So Rclone is a Rsync inspired thing that lets you connect your cloud storage devices, lets you sync files back and forth from your cloud storage devices. So like if you have a NAS with a whole bunch of storage and you want to make sure you have a backup of your Google Photos folder, your complete Google Photos thing, you can connect to your Google Photos storage with that and just say, hey, make every day, make this folder on the NAS a copy of the Google Photos drive, right?
So it's connecting to the API and like it's a third-party service. This isn't
Well, Rclone is a piece of software.
Yeah.
But it connects to third-party services, including like Dropbox and Box and OneDrive and Google Drive and Google Photos, all the way up to stuff like S3 and Backblaze storage and stuff like that. So like you can literally connect to anything with it seems like.
Is this a paid thing?
No, Rclone is just a piece of Linux software.
Oh, does it work on Windows as well or no?
Probably. You might have to use Windows Subsystem for Linux.
Interesting. Okay.
But anyway, so the point is it gives you a way to just mount, and then Rclone Mount gives you a way to mount those Rclone endpoints, like your Google Drive or your Dropbox or whatever, in the file system wherever you want.
Like as a folder, like a
Up,
network.
so it just
like
shows
a network folder, like on Windows.
Just like a network folder on Windows. But like in my home folder now, there's a Dropbox folder. It has a little icon next to it that indicates it's an Rclone Mount folder. And when I go to it, it takes a second to load, but it'll show the entire contents of my Dropbox.
So, but is it pulling it down locally?
It's just mounting it remotely. So there's no local version.
There's no local version. Yeah. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. Why do you not want the local version? Just because you don't have the space for it?
My Dropbox is 3 terabytes and the hard drive is 500 megabytes.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So it's almost like instead of using the web base thing, this is like the same representation, but
just
in the file system.
Well, and instead of using the web-based, so the web-based one is fine if you're not doing a lot of work, but like all of our TechPod files live in the Dropbox, in a shared Dropbox.
You mean Brad and Will made TechPod?
Brad and Will made a TechPod. You can find it over at techpod.content.town.
What was that?
techpod.content.town.
Oh, it was a good one.
But the point is, you can access it through the file system, right? And there's a little bit of a lag when you initially connect, or when you like when I come to the office, it disconnects and then reconnects and stuff like that. But generally speaking, once it's connected, it feels pretty snappy. Dropbox is, I think, the least performant thing. Ironically, when I connected it to my OneDrive, it was like instant and really fast. But I also have hardly anything in my OneDrive, and I have a buttload of stuff in my Dropbox.
Yeah.
So like getting rid of a lot of the folders that are in the root of my Dropbox, of the files that are in the root of my Dropbox, and putting them in subfolders will probably help with that. So I'm not like downloading metadata for 3,000 files every time I log into Dropbox.
So what happens if you want to download it locally?
Just drag it into another folder on your hard drive.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you like copy and paste, or do you have to drag? Or
you can copy and paste. You can drag. You can use the command line. Whatever. It's all.
So it's almost
files.
like it just sees a proxy of it, and then when you tell it, oh hey, I want to pull this down. Yeah.
It literally is working almost like you're working on a network share. So that
And what's the connection speed?
It's whatever your internet connection is.
Really? So like you're not...
Depends on the service. So Dropbox limits API calls. Like, so if I had to set up the Dropbox mount so it only does a limited number of hits. Because when you hit it with too many at the same time, it throttles you.
Yeah, Dropbox is like, whoa, hold up.
But like OneDrive was like, yeah, let it rip. Nobody cares about OneDrive.
Let it rip.
Yeah. I had a hard time getting the Google Drive stuff connected. I had to set up an app. I had to set up a Google API endpoint for my Google Drive and a bunch of other nonsense. It took kind of a long time. I'm not sure it's working right. So anyway, so Rsync is
protocol.
That's for like copying files across your network. Like if you want to copy a whole bunch of files across your network to your NAS, Rsync will do it faster than anything else. And you can set Rsync to keep 2 folders in sync with each other. So for example, if you wanted to make your home folder, if you wanted to sync your home folder to your NAS, you could call an Rsync call that would do that at the end of the day every day. When you log off or when you suspend the computer or something like that, and it would do that.
Okay.
Rclone is the thing that does the online stuff, and Rclone Mount, again for the people at home, is the thing that lets you mount an Rclone drive as a thing. If you just call Rclone, it'll copy all the files down into your hard drive, which you may or may not want.
Oh, yeah. Okay, because
So we'll talk about that Rclone also configures the authentication. So like if you basically you do an Rclone - space settings, I think, and it basically configures the whole. It walks you through a wizard that says, hey, what do you want to connect to? Do you want to connect to Dropbox? Okay, you go do this. Do you want to connect to Google Drive? Here's a web page that explains the 35 steps you have to follow. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I guess I was trying to find a list of services that they do.
If you go to their documentation, it tells you, or go to what can Rclone do for you. But
what can Rclone do for you?
There's a supported providers right there, and it's like
that's a pretty good list.
It's crazy. It's a lot.
Okay, yeah.
You can do iCloud Drive,
FTP. Yeah.
You can do Huawei. You can do Mega. If you want to put stuff on, if you want to put your big files on Mega, you can just drop them into that folder.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, even Synology.
Yeah. So it works with everything.
That's nice.
So that's been really good. The performance is not great. I think that putting the throttling on has helped with the performance some. But if people, and I'm going to clear out my root folder so that there's not 3,000 files in there because I've been sloppy. And if people have other suggestions for that, I would welcome that. Okay. I tried Winboat, and I've had some problems with it. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've talked about Winboat a lot. Winboat is it's basically an emulation thing that puts it lets you run Windows applications inside containers, basically on Linux.
This isn't what Wendell talked about, though.
This is what Wendell talked about.
No, he talked about
WinApps.
WinApps.
Yeah, similar idea.
Oh, similar idea, but yeah.
I get to a point where it says, hey, the Docker daemon isn't running, but it is, and I don't know what to do beyond that. So that's where I am with Winboat. If people have ideas on that.
But so you haven't even been able to get to install it?
I installed it. And I ran it, and I'm on the prerequisites page, which they have a hyphen in prerequisites. I don't know about how I feel about that. But and it says I have at least 4 gigs of RAM. I have at least 2 CPU cores. My virtualization's enabled. Docker is installed. Docker Compose V2 is installed. My user is added to the Docker group. And then there's a big X next to the Docker daemon is running. But I assure you the Docker daemon is running. So when I go to the page that explains how to do that, it says the Docker daemon is running. So... Anyway.
That is weird.
Yeah.
So do you need to also install Docker, or is Winboat Docker already?
Docker will install Winboat. If you do it with your package manager, Docker is one of the prerequisites.
Okay.
So your system package installer will just do it for you.
So I hear about Docker a lot. You guys talk about it on the Tech Pod a lot.
You're not ready for Docker
I've never used it. I don't.
You're not there.
But I wouldn't need to know.
You can just set it up.
Winboat is using it, and I don't need to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have to follow a couple. I will say the Winboat documentation, despite not being able to help me with this specific problem, was pretty good about setting up, configuring Docker, getting the user in the right group, and how to run the daemon, even though it's not working.
And you got it from your package manager?
I got it from, I just did it from Pacman.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Do you know if it supports Debian-based or...
Yeah, it should work with everything.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's just software.
Oh, okay.
Linux, it's all about choice.
Well,
it's choices. Speaking of choices, I've done my Saturday. What I did on Saturday while I wasn't at ice skating practice was...
You ice skate?
No, my daughter does.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I ice skate.
Yeah.
I'm like one of those dancing hippopotamuses in Fantasia. I just get out there and I'm twirling and,
You're a worldly man.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff. I spent my time futzing around with Niri workspaces. And getting them configured. So you'll note at the top bar where these used to be numbered, I now have named workspaces in my Niri file. So there's the main one, which is where terminals and the browser always lands there no matter what I do. Notion always lands there. That's the place where I like to think work happens, right?
Yeah.
And then
and real quick before so people know, Niri is a desktop manager.
It's a tiling desktop Windows manager.
Yeah, that essentially puts everything in a window that shares the whole screen.
You can't. I guess you can, but generally speaking, you don't have windows floating around in your desktop.
Nothing's floating.
Yeah, they're just all tiled.
Yeah, and you can expand how far you want it to go, left or right.
It swipes infinitely to the side, as you add more applications. Yeah. And then you also have virtual desktops that you can swipe up and down to get to. So
can you configure it in different, or is it always up and down?
You can configure it however you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could make it.
Yeah.
But
instead of on GNOME, I have I could swipe over and I have another desktop thing, but I actually never use that feature.
So you can see the overview thing in Niri, so you can see different. I guess when we've talked about this before, we've been remote, so you haven't been able to see me doing it.
No, I've seen it. You've showed me when we've been in to record Full Nerd and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make sure people. We're following along. But now you've named each.
The metaphor. The metaphor is each row is a virtual desktop. Mm-hmm. And the rows you can put new applications on the rows as much as you want, and then you swipe up and down with 3 fingers to go between the different rows.
And so now you've been able to name the rows.
Yes. So I have main, I have chat, and I have games. What up, chat? And I did this by setting up stuff in my Niri config file. So I just made workspaces. I declared workspaces in my Niri config.kdl file for main, chat, and games. I did them in the order that I wanted them to be on the list because there's no way to organize them other than that. It just loads the first one first and the second one second and the third one third. And then I set window rules. So this is window -rule for each of the applications and said match an app ID, found out how to find the app IDs by using a Niri command. And now, so for example, I'm going to demonstrate something. I'm going to do something crazy. I just closed Notion, which
Audio
I was
people
using.
can't see this,
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah.
But I'm on my
You're
Games
showing me.
tab. I'm going to hit the command to open Notion. And
It opens on the
opened
Games.
on the Games tab. Well,
Which is not what
that
you
one's
wanted.
not working right. TBD. Firefox, Slack, and Discord all work right. I just did the Notion one last night. So here we go. That was a great demo. Firefox.
That was a great demo.
Firefox
okay.
opens
Now
on
move to your main.
There we go.
Yeah,
and now
okay.
I'll move that back to the far left.
Too bad
Okay.
we weren't recording that.
It's too bad there wasn't a video
great,
there. That was
yeah.
amazing. But yeah, so this is part of this whole process.
Niri is pretty cool.
Yeah. But it's a little challenge. So to find out what my what the idea is and to fix this problem that I've made for myself,
The Notion ID.
the Notion ID, I'm going to type Niri message pick window. I don't think I have Notion actually open right now.
Doesn't look like it.
No, let me open Notion. And then what I'll do is I'll hit enter and it says, okay, you're going to pick the window, and I click on it and it gives me the Notion ID for this. So the reason it didn't work is that my Notion in the Niri config file is case sensitive.
Oh, man. Case sensitive
So-
stuff still gets me in the command line or terminal.
So I reloaded it. I'm going to try it again.
Go to your games. Oh, yeah. Close it.
Let me close the Notion.
Go to your games.
And Notion.
He's opening Notion.
And here we go.
it popped
Goes
up.
up
There
to
you
the
go.
top
Boom.
one.
Look at
So
that. You're a magician.
This is what I did all Saturday morning, basically.
just not enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also did an update because I had Snapper working and all that stuff's going right
Update on the
caching machine on the
Caching,
laptop. I
okay.
just updated
Caching
everything.
had a
Caching
roll in.
update all.
Okay.
And I got a Noctalia shell update, which is great. It adds a dock and some other stuff that I like. Occasionally now Niri doesn't recognize my trackpad gestures, the swipes ups and downs. And it seems to be tied to suspend, and I'm kind of at a loss for how to troubleshoot this. Restarting
Like when you open up.
Yeah, when I close the laptop, come back, open it up, log back in, that stuff all works right. But then it just doesn't recognize, and it's specifically the swipe up and down is the only thing it doesn't recognize. The side to side seems fine. I don't understand it at all. And restarting Quick Shell, which is one of those managers, I don't remember which one, but Quick Shell is like the layer that Noctalia lives above or below.
Don't ask me.
Noctalia uses Quick Shell. Quick Shell talks to Niri. Niri talks to X or Wayland. And then those are started by SDDM. This is the process as I understand it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know where the mistake is.
Something's breaking in that chain.
Something's jacked. My assumption is at some point I'm going to update Cache and it's just going to fix itself because that's how rolling distro life is. Sometimes it fixes itself. Sometimes it gets worse. Who knows?
I got a question.
Yeah, what's your
I
question?
really like this Niri stuff.
Yeah, it's dope.
Is there a way to configure it with a GUI? Do they have a GUI settings?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, you can figure some of it with the GUI, but the text file is really self-explanatory. It's like easier than HTML.
Okay.
You just blinked at me like 3 times as if I suggested.
I learned a little bit of HTML in the early 2000s.
Yeah, you're there.
Okay.
So you can configure some stuff with depending on which shell you choose to run on top of Niri. Like I'm running Noctalia shell, which is the one that I looked at. I looked at a list of them, and that one had the best screenshot, and it had a settings panel. So I was like, I'm going to do this one.
Okay.
But like you can control color schemes and whether it's dark mode or light mode. You can pick the wallpaper. You can choose audio interfaces, and like you can do things like my bar configurator. So I can choose like how many active windows to show and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's got GUI based
But
stuff.
it's basically letting you control the Noctalia.
I mean, like everything,
stuff.
right?
Yeah.
Well, and then my other question is, do you know if it's Wayland or Xorg?
It's Wayland.
Oh, okay.
That's a choice. I'm running Wayland.
Oh, okay. Because Fedora 43, as part of other distros are doing this too. We're dropping Xorg support. So
You can also run Niri inside another windowing system, desktop manager.
other than Noctalia.
No, I'm saying you could just install Niri and run Niri as a window in there. I don't know what happens when you do that. Like you can run it on top. I've been reading a lot of Niri documentation this weekend.
Okay.
Like for example, I lost my tabs, which is not great right now.
Whoops.
Restore previous session. There we go. Okay, so when you are, one of the things that Niri does is they have portals, is what they're called, and they basically let you run apps that are tuned for KDE or GNOME and still get Niri to work right. So like if you have an app like Slack or Discord that expects there to be a GNOME system tray or KDE system tray, it's basically a wrapper that says, hey, take this GNOME command and put it here because we know that this is a Niri thing.
Oh, okay.
And that stuff works really well. So like I assume when you run it inside another desktop, there's a name for it. And it is called, I don't remember, and I don't see it on the wiki here, but I can find it out for next week. So I'll put that on my homework to find that stuff out for next week. Let's see, other stuff that I've been doing. I set up Obsidian, which is an open source notes thing that's kind of like Notion, but without the cloud storage. It's one of the reasons I wanted to get Dropbox working is because I store my Obsidian files in a Dropbox folder.
Wait, so you use Notion and Obsidian?
Well, I'm thinking about, maybe I shouldn't be on this closed thing when I could be on an open thing instead.
True. Yeah, I'm only on Notion because of
me.
You.
Yeah, I like Notion a lot. A lot of games people use Notion, so I'll probably still end up having to keep Notion. But if I can move my personal note keeping off of there into something that's more open and Markdown based, that might be nice. It turns out the import of my 3,000 notes from Notion was a complete disaster. So we'll try it again and come back to that at some point in the future.
Just start fresh.
No, it's too late for that.
Yeah, jettison it all.
Nope, I can't do that. That's insane. I take notes for a reason. And then the last thing was I did some more game stuff. So I played some Arc Raiders. That worked great on the desktop. I've been playing a handful of games on Steam on the laptop even. I told you about Buggos. I played a little Power Wash Simulator just to see how that worked too.
The sequel, yeah.
Yeah, that was
upgraded.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Worked surprisingly well with the controller. Okay. I wanted to get controller support. And I updated firmware on my 8-bit Do controller. With the FW update utility that ships with Linux instead of using the Windows one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That was a pain in the butt.
Oh, like how bad?
I probably would have been easier just walk into the room with the Windows machine and plug it in and update it there.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, it absolutely would have been easier, but I can do it. I learned.
Did you need the update?
Yeah, it wasn't working right with it was I think the button prompts were switched or something. There's something weird about it. And when I looked it up, it was like, yeah, you're running an old version of the firmware because it was a controller that I probably haven't updated the firmware ever on, and it was like 4 years old. So it was like pre-Steam Deck firmware for the thing. And the Steam Deck, it turns out the launch of Steam Deck was real good for Linux support for gamepads.
Yeah, well, it's almost like the Xbox 360 controller for Windows, like when that came out, and what's the
games for Windows. The lasting X input.
X input, yeah. So that did wonders for it. So the Steam Deck, I guess, and also like I feel like we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but like people were saying like PlayStation controllers have the best support.
Are great. I use a PlayStation controller on my Windows on my desktop, and it has so far been flawless.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it for me. Homework for me this week will be figuring out if you can test out Niri inside your desktop environment, because I think you probably can.
I mean, like, there's a lot of things about Niri that I like, especially on the laptop. I don't know if it would work for me on desktop, but like, I'm curious. Or maybe there's things about that. Like, I really like that you have the performance stats in the
it's just in a little top bug
tray
in the
thing.
top right, and you can configure with a GUI.
Yeah. So, but there's probably things to do like on GNOME. I just need to look into it.
Well, KDE will definitely let you do that. GNOME is a little bit less compatible or less configurable, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
I can do memory as a percentage. I didn't know that. That's nice.
Yeah, nice.
The next step for me, I was reading about, while I was doing this other stuff and rebooting and stuff all the time, I read a little bit about how Niri works with multiple monitors, which is relevant to me on the desktop, and especially with multiple different DPI monitors, because I have a 1080p and a 4K monitor on the desktop. And I'm going to try it. I think I'm going to give it a run.
Like Niri on the desktop.
Niri on the desktop.
Or
on my desktop.
Your physical desktop.
Yeah, and see how it goes.
Huh. Well, also, are you using anything to sync your desktop and your laptop?
No, not at this time.
So you configure one thing on the laptop, and you're not having to replicate it on the desktop. You're doing something different.
What I'll probably do, because the way one of the things about the Niri config file, I have it open here on the desktop so you can see, but like you have to declare your displays at the top. So like here's my display configuration. This is a 2880 by 1800 at 60 hertz display, and I'm using the scaling of 2, which is the high DPI scaling. So it's legible.
It's too big.
Well, no, it's not. It's not 2.0. It's
not 200%.
That's just no.
Okay.
It's just that's just like
2 is just a.
It's a 2 is a number.
A number.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because I configured the scaling differently, separately over here. The point though is I don't want to I wouldn't want to bring that part of this over, and the touchpad stuff is useless to me on the desktop because I'm going to be using a mouse and keyboard. So large portions of the Niri config file will be the same, but ultimately I'm going to have to figure out how I use the mouse to scroll between workspaces and stuff like that. Because I don't have there's no 3-finger swipe equivalent on the mouse and keyboard.
Well, you can get a standalone touchpad for desktop usage.
That's weird pervert.
Or you could get a trackball.
Nobody wants a trackball.
Trackball.
Look, I was talking to someone the other day about RSI injuries, and they said,
trackball.
Hey, I have my trackball between my split halves of my keyboard. And I was like, that sounds pretty good. But no trackballs.
I've got an extra one for you if you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One of those big Kensington jobbers?
Yeah, Jeff from Craft Computing, I'm sure, would send you an Elecom one. Yeah, he likes the Elecom ones. Yeah, I've had bad luck with those, so I haven't got one in yet.
Those are huge balls on the Elecom ones.
I like the big balls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if the ball's too tiny, you can't get a good accentuation on it.
The last time I used a trackball
it was the thumb one?
Logitech thumb ones. That
I don't
was
like
a
those
bad
thumb
idea.
ones. No. And those balls are too small.
They were tiny.
Yeah. So you got to get it on your. You got to get the
clean
big balls
them
on your
still,
fingers. Well, not the ball itself, but the little roller things
they
inside.
get gooped up.
The thing is, I'm a fidgeter.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly playing with the ball anyway.
Wow. We're gonna get notes on this one.
It's fine. It's the end of the show. We should wrap it up.
Yeah.
My homework is to figure out the Rsync Rclone thing, because now that I'm having the laptop.
Now that you're locked in.
Now that I'm locked in and I have the laptop set up, I want to be able to once again do that idea of having the framework laptop 13 and then having the framework desktop I guess it doesn't matter if I do the sync, it doesn't matter the hardware, but I still like that idea.
If you do the sync, you can sync it to your little external guy.
Also, I don't have to do network thing
and pull it across. Yeah, so you just sync
that
it
would be cool to have everything configured the same.
Yeah.
And then I just go home and I plug it in and I sync it.
Yeah.
So that's my homework. I need your help with that though.
Well, and the nice thing about the Rsync stuff is it's really fast and it seems pretty smart. So I do Rsync to on my server stuff to do to back up a Minecraft server and stuff like that. And unlike a Minecraft world, it's instantaneous, even though my daughter's been playing on it for 6 years now, and it's enormous. So it just takes the stuff that changes.
Just the change really difference. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No. That's the hope, right? Because then that for me that would be the one step closer for my physical desktop at home is to be able to plug that in, keep working there, and on that framework desktop it has 2 drives, so I'll have my Windows over there. So that'll be easier to switch to if I need.
The other thing I wonder is if there's a way. Are you using ButterFS here? Do you remember? For audio listeners, he made the frown, the shrug frown. I don't know.
I did.
Just open up your disk.
No, hold on. I showed you
his phone now.
No. The installer. I took a photo of the default
my
Fedora
dad does
installer.
That. He's like, oh yeah.
Well, because you were asking last week about that I had an EFI and a boot partition or a boot.
Fedora does
EFI.
weird stuff with that.
So, but it looks like ButterFS, right?
ButterFS on the home folder. Yeah. So I wonder if you can just do a snapshot of the ButterFS thing and save that and snapshot it to the drive. That might be even faster than using Rsync. Hey, if you have thoughts about this, leave a comment. This is what we're here for.
I mean, yeah, because people have to have the same situation where it's you have multiple.
I don't think so. This is a very distinctly you're creating a problem for yourself.
I bet there's people who have a laptop and a desktop.
I'm sure there are.
Or multiple laptops, one at work, one at home, and they want to be able to just have.
Most people who have laptops for work and home try to keep them as separate as possible. That's the right choice.
Okay, well, let me know. Let us know down in the comments because
Tell Adam why he's wrong.
Curious. No,
but also tell me whether you do ButterFS snapshots or Rsync, because I think it's ButterFS snapshots.
Yeah, maybe this is an Adam thing, but I bet you might be surprised how many people have multiple devices.
Here's the thing: the way we learn things. You're right now. I think you're tilting at windmills, right? You're doing a little Don Quixote action. It's a literary reference.
Oh yeah, I'm not a reader.
Okay, so the point is,
tilting at windmills.
Don Quixote was a knight who rode horses with a lance, and he would attack windmills.
He would attack windmills?
Yeah, it's a metaphor. The point is, he never beat the windmills because you can't knock over a windmill with a horse and a lance.
I mean, it's a windmill.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, in this case, your goal here is the windmill. But
so you don't think I'm going to win?
No, the whole point of the story is he learns things about himself by tilting at windmills, even though he doesn't successfully kill the windmill because you can't kill windmills. He thinks they're giants or something. I can't remember. Look, it's been a long time since I read Don Quixote.
Also, tilting not like a tiling desktop manager.
No, tilting like a knight. He rests the lance on his thing and charges it.
Is that what a tilting is?
So yeah, tilting. Okay. So the point is, you're not going to, even if you don't take down this windmill, metaphorically speaking, you're going to learn something along the way.
I hope so.
And isn't that really what we're all here for?
I guess. Yeah. Hopefully that's why you're here.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you are here. And be sure to check back next week for your fix of Linux talk here on Dual Boot Diaries. If you want to go learn about awesome DIY PC hardware stuff, go subscribe over at the Full Nerd podcast. If you want some more random tech stuff in your life, we had hinted at Brad and Will made a tech pod.
Oh, thank you.
You kind of cover a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, the basic idea is it's single topic. The original idea 7 years ago, or whatever it was that it was single topic technology topics. So we dig into like how Wi-Fi works, stuff like that. It turns out there's a limited number of those, so we do those a few of those a year at this point.
Things evolve,
but we do we break down news. We talk about projects that we have ongoing. We do a lot of home server and home lab type stuff. Yeah. I actually don't know what this week's episode is about yet because we haven't recorded it yet. So
yeah. Also, next week's episode, just heads up, might be a little late. Like I said, I'm going on travel, and then we have Tuesday off. So I also have Monday off. So I've a really long weekend.
I can just hold it down, just me sitting talking
just
to the
you.
camera.
Yeah, just
45 minutes of Will.
Just rant to the camera.
Yeah, Will. It's Will time.
It's Will time. Here we go.
Let's
nerds. Go. Watch out. So it might be a little late. It might not be Friday that we post the episode. It might be Saturday, but. We'll try to get it Friday. Yeah.
We didn't successfully dual boot. We didn't successfully delete the Windows partitions. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
it just means sometimes life gets in the way.
And I guarantee next week I will be continuing to use Fedora.
You're locked in.
I'm not crossing my fingers or my toes.
What's the penalty if you switch back to Ubuntu again?
500 lashes.
The thing I like best about Fedora is you can say it right consistently.
Yeah. And it's a hat.
You could wear a fedora next week.
Maybe I should buy a fedora. Yeah,
I think that's a great idea.
No, I don't think
we need more fedora guys.
Guy.
That's what the internet said to me.
Well, now I'm going over to the Fedora website.
I've worked with a fedora guy before,
well, a Red Hat has like an actual picture of a hat, a fedora.
It's an actual fedora.
Yeah, but Fedora does not have some sort of picture of a fedora.
I think the Carmen San Diego hat would look good on you.
Dude, I love Carmen San Diego.
Yeah, I know you
growing up. But was that even the TV show? Yes, the game, the computer games. Yeah. But the TV show was awesome.
Yeah, you like
the
Rockapella?
The world is Carmen San Diego.
Yeah.
Also, is that a fedora she's wearing?
She's wearing.
Okay, I was about to say.
It might be an oversized fedora, but it's a big floppy red hat. Okay. Because you can't see her face. She's disguised.
Yeah, she's international woman of mystery. Yep. Anyway, thanks everybody. That's this episode. So 11 episodes in. And look at us. We're making great progress. I'm proud. I'm proud of you, Will.
Hey, thanks, man. I'm proud of you, too. You're doing good.
Hey, thanks.
Finally,
we're continuing it on.
I wish we had, at the beginning, we had tracked how many times we installed Linux.
Oh,
we should have kept a scoreboard.
We're talking,
because I'm at like 4, maybe 3.
I'm like,
I've done a bunch for you.
Yeah, no, dude. Especially even with that HP laptop early on, I was reinstalling. Oh God, yeah. Anyway, we're continuing the adventures. Check back next week, and we will have another one. Adios.
Bye.